When you go into your Google Ads account and you go to Tools and Settings and then Conversions, when you look at all the conversions set up in your account, you'll notice something called Action Optimization, which is a column in the conversions that you've created. So what is Actions Optimization, and why are some of them primary and why are some of them secondary? Well, in this video, I'm going to break down the difference between a primary conversion and a secondary conversion in Google Ads and explain to you specifically when and where to use both different types of conversion and the implications of setting your conversions as either primary or secondary. So let's begin with primary. Now, of course, being primary, it's going to be the most important type of conversion. A primary conversion is going to be the most important actions you want to track in your account. So say, for example, you're a business generating leads through a form on your website, and that's pretty much the only way a customer can convert on your site. Of course, you want this to be a primary conversion because it is the most important action that you want the customer to take on your website. But the importance of setting this conversion as primary as opposed to secondary goes beyond just whether or not it's something you want to measure as the most successful conversion. Because if you're using a smart bidding strategy, and by the way, you should be using a smart bidding strategy. If you want to fight me on that in the comments, let me know. But if you're using a smart bidding strategy like target CPA and you're trying to optimize the performance towards a specific target CPA goal, then having a conversion as primary will mean Google will use that conversion data to optimize performance. It will actually use the signals given from the users who commit that conversion to optimize the performance of the campaign going forward. If that conversion was set as a secondary conversion, Google will completely ignore this conversion when optimizing performance, which means the difference between primary conversions and secondary conversions becomes even more important. So if the action you're recording as a conversion is important, why would you even need a secondary conversion, I hear you asking me? Well, the answer is simple, because some websites have many actions a customer can take, and not all of those actions are going to be as important. But if your Google Ads campaigns are generating responses with those actions, you want to know when they're happening, even if you don't necessarily want them to be used to optimize your performance. So here's an example. Say, for example, on your website, you have a hyperlink where somebody could click to send an email through their email system. Now, this isn't a conversion because until you receive that email, it's not really a sale, and Google won't understand whether or not the person actually sent the email. The only action you could set up as a conversion is if somebody clicked the link on that email address. They wouldn't know whether or not the customer sent it. So to give Google the opportunity to optimize overall campaign performance based on something so soft as a conversion point wouldn't necessarily make sense. So this kind of action is a primary candidate for a secondary conversion point, because you want to know when somebody's doing it, because it's a good signal towards understanding how people are interacting with your ads. So it's important, but not important enough to be classed as a conversion. And the good thing about secondary conversions is that you don't have to even worry about whether or not how hard or soft that conversion point is. I just gave the example of an email link click, but the good news is with secondary conversions, you could even set them softer than that. There could be specific interactions, there could be different stages within a long step or multi-step form process where they hit a certain step that's really important. It could be absolutely anything. Of course, you don't want to track every single click or page view as a secondary conversion. That would just become a nightmare. But any interaction that's moderately important to your business, you can track as a secondary conversion point and be safe understanding Google isn't going to optimize all of your spend to achieving email link clicks or certain views of pages. It will always go back to that primary conversion, which is where you're actually getting the lead into your business or the sale into your business, as opposed to the secondary conversion. So what I'm going to do right now is go into my Google Ads account and show you specifically the differences in these two conversion points, how to see them differently in your reporting, and more importantly, the specific use case I've given to how I've used secondary and primary conversions for one of my clients. Okay, so here I am in Google Ads, and I'm just going to show you very quickly the difference between a primary and a secondary conversion within the conversion settings. So if you go to Tools and Settings and then go to Conversions, then you'll see the two conversions in this account. There is a conversion for new inquiry, which is currently a secondary conversion, and there's another conversion from CLID, which is the Google Click ID, and this is a primary conversion. The name doesn't matter. The difference between these two conversions is as follows. This secondary conversion was the old way we were tracking conversions without taking into account the offline sale. So this was just a lead form submission and it tracked all lead form submissions. This conversion, called qualified lead, the conversion action is actually taken from the CRM system of this particular client, and they are passing the sales data into Google Ads via the API. And this is essentially going to be a real conversion with real values. So you can see here there's a conversion value and the number of conversions is less than the pure number of submissions. So this is the reason you would do a primary conversion and a secondary conversion, because we still wanted to understand the total number of conversions being submitted, but we actually only wanted Google to optimize through the data driven through the main conversion where the person is giving their details and also providing the service and the sale is actually made. So if we go backwards for a second and we go back into the account and we have a look at the columns in the reporting, you can see here the conversions. There are 3 conversions, but if you want to see across all of your ad groups and campaigns, if you hit the columns and then go to modify columns and then go to conversions, you will see there's an opportunity to add in all conversions. If you go down here, there's a column for all conversions. Now, the conversions column only includes conversions that Google is going to use in bidding strategies to optimize performance. The all conversions column will include primary and secondary conversions, so you can see the comparison between the two. So I've added that column in, and you can see here there's the conversions column. In this campaign has 3 conversions, and in the all conversions column there are 10 conversions. So you can see the difference between the two and why you would want to have a primary and a secondary conversion, because we still want to understand how many forms have been submitted here, but we don't necessarily want Google to optimize with the submissions, because there will be time wasters, there might be leads that aren't quite right for the business, and it's all a question of making sure we can measure but also optimize based on the data we want to optimize from. Hope that makes sense.